we'll take one more breath, filling up fully with air, letting the belly, the ribs, chest expand. And exhale, let it all go. Nice. And now we're going to start to prepare for our own. So we'll take a full breath in to start. Exhaling out. And then inhale, preparing for your own. Allow the chin to draw towards the chest and just hang the head for a moment. Let your forehead bow forwards. And if your eyes were closed or the gaze was soft, you can flutter the eyelids back open. And just start to lift your head, letting the neck stack on top of the rest of the spine, growing long through the back of the head. Good. And then you'll take your left hand down outside of the hip, rooting into that left hand, left sits bone, and then reach up through your right arm. Go long through that side body. Beautiful. And start to crawl your left hand over to the left, and we'll find a deeper side bend as you reach through that right arm. Beautiful. And notice if your right butt is wanting to lift off of the mat, the block, whatever is beneath it, can you root it back down and reach out? Nice. And then we'll inhale, come back up through center. Take that right hand and bring it to your left shoulder. Left hand will reach for your right shoulder. So just crossing the arms, giving yourself a little hug. Take an inhale and fill your arms with your chest space. And then exhale and round forwards. Draw the chin towards the floor. Let the shoulder blades move back. The head moves forwards. And then we'll inhale and lift the chest. So moving through these seated cat-cow spine. Exhale to round, maybe even hanging on your shoulders as you round forwards. Inhale to open, arch up with the chest. Beautiful. And exhale and round, curl in. Take that one more time. Nice. And then we'll inhale to come back up through center. Exhale, open up the arms, spread them nice and wide. Take up space here. Good. And lower your hands back down by your sides. We're going to keep the right hand rooted down this time and reach up through the left arm. Gorgeous. Start to crawl the right hand out to the right side as you deepen into this side bend. Beautiful. Breathing space into the rib cage, maybe even feeling the space between each intercostal. So good. Maybe you can dial your gaze up towards the sky as well. Take another breath here. Exhaling out, let the shoulders soften, and then use your next inhale to come back up through center. Good. And we'll take right hand to left shoulder, left hand to right shoulder. And actually, right arm will be on top this time, just switching the arm that's in front. And start to round your spine. Again, we're going to find that cat, drawing the chin, the forehead down, and then inhaling to rise back up, opening through the chest, arching the spine. Good. A couple more rounds like that. Let your breath guide you here. So feel free to move as slowly or as quickly as you would like, whatever speed is feeling good for you. So nice. Finishing that off, we'll meet back in our neutral spine. You'll go ahead and release the arms, extend them out to the sides, take up space once again. And then release the hands down, and we'll come to transition into a tabletop position. So finding hands and knees, stacking the shoulders on top of the wrists, hips right over the knees. Beautiful. Go ahead and tuck the toes. And then walk your hands about a handprint distance out in front of you, just a few inches forwards. Beautiful. And we'll start to float the knees just an inch above the ground. Let them hover. See if you can keep your hips in line with your shoulders. And we'll slowly start to press back. So send the weight back into your heels, send your belly towards your thighs, extend the legs, lifting the hips. So nice. And we'll just take a few moments here to settle and arrive into our downward facing dog. So nice, Austin. Yeah, let the head hang between the arms. Maybe you shake it a little side to side. Finding perhaps some organic movement if that feels good, maybe swiveling the heels side to side. Yeah, bending the knees, pedaling out the legs. Maybe you're just finding some stillness. Maybe that's what you need to arrive into this shape. And we'll take just a couple more breaths here. Inhaling to feel that length through the spine, length through the backs of the legs. Exhaling to settle into the shape. Feeling that ease in the joint spaces, maybe giving a little bit of a softening into the elbows, the knees. Good. Take another nice deep breath here. So nice. Now start to gaze forwards towards your hands, and we're going to take a little step towards the front of the mat, walking towards your hands, coming into a forward fold, Uttanasana. Yeah, and you can give a little bit of space between your feet if you'd like. I like to bring two fists in between my inner arches, measuring for roughly hips width distance. Yeah, maybe you hold on to opposite elbows, finding a little ragdoll sway. So, so nice. Thinking of a weight attached to the top of your head, allowing that weight to drag you even further towards the floor. As the sits bones, the hips rise towards the sky, send your breath into the backs of the legs. And releasing whatever grip you were holding of the arms, we'll slowly start to roll ourselves up to standing. Nice. Stacking the vertebrae, shoulders over hips, lifting the head. Turn the palms to face forwards, opening the arms or broadening the collarbones for your Tadasana. And I want you to think of reaching your fingertips towards the floor. So the arms are growing longer, finding that space between the shoulders and the ears. And then take an inhale as you fly your arms out to the sides, reaching them up. Gazing up at the space between the hands, and then we'll draw our palms together and trace down the midline of your body as you soften your knees, hinge forwards, fold back over the legs. Beautiful. Let's inhale for Ardha Uttanasana, palms to shins or fingertips to the floor, gaze forwards. Exhale, fold back over the legs. And we'll start to plant into the palms, step the right foot back. Stepping the left foot back to meet it, finding your plank, holding it here. Maybe you tap the knees down for this first plank. Beautiful. Wherever you are, gaze forwards. Can you hug the belly in and up? Feel the backs of your lungs broadening. And then we'll all tap our knees down to the mat if they're not there already. Beautiful. Bending the elbows, squeeze your ribs with your inner arms to lower the chest, the chin, and the whole body. Extending the legs long. We're going to find a cobra to start. So hands will stay underneath the shoulders. Press into the tops of the feet to inhale, float the head, the chest up. Beautiful. Exhale, lower the head. Press into your hands. Shift back through tabletop. We'll meet back in our downward facing dog. And we'll find some sun salutations to start, to warm things up. So on an inhale, float the right leg up and back. Three-legged dog. Nice. Flexing the toes down. Exhale, step the foot forwards, low lunge. And starting off slow, we're going to build up from here. We'll tap that left knee down. And then you'll lift your torso up. Bring your arms into a cactus shape. Elbows in line with the shoulders. Palms face forwards. And then you're going to either cross your arms, holding onto opposite shoulders. We'll take the left arm in front, or maybe you'll find your eagle arm wrap, taking the left arm over the right, maybe bringing the palms together so the pinky fingers are pointed out. So, so nice. Wherever you are, can you inhale, lift the chest? And then exhale, shift weight forwards into that front foot. Can you breathe space into the front of the right hip, front of the right thigh? We'll take another breath here. So nice, Sophia. Exhale and release that clasp of the arms, the bind, whatever you had. Lower hands to frame the front foot. Extend the back leg. We'll step that left foot forwards to meet the right. Forward fold, Uttanasana. Hanging the head. I see Anne has a little friend coming to help out. Love that. Let's start to roll ourselves up to standing. Take your time, stack the vertebrae. Beautiful. Palms face forwards, Tadasana. Fingertips reach down towards the floor, and then inhale, widen the arms, raise them up and overhead, Urdhva Hastasana. Gaze up. Exhale, palms come together, trace down the midline, forward fold is where we'll meet. So nice. Inhale, half lift, Ardha Uttanasana, gaze forwards. Exhale, fold back over the legs, plant the hands. We'll step the left foot back this time. Nice. And then the right foot back to meet it, arriving in plank. Holding for an inhale as you gaze forwards, press your heels back like you could tap them up against a wall behind you. Exhaling out, we'll start to lower the body down, maybe tapping knees down first. Beautiful. Hugging the elbows in towards the ribs, coming onto the belly. Inhale, find your cobra. Maybe you float the chest up a little higher this time. Maybe you can float your hands off the mat, squeezing the shoulder blades further back. Use your exhale to lower chest, forehead, hands, nice. Shifting back through tabletop, meeting in downward facing dog. Inhale, we'll float the left leg up and back. Three-legged dog, flexing the toes down. Nice. Exhale, step the foot forwards. Low lunge. Tapping the right knee down. Good. And then lifting the torso, lifting the arms, will bring them into that cactus shape, elbows in line with the shoulders. Nice. And then this time you'll take your right arm on top, maybe holding opposite shoulders, maybe finding that eagle arm wrap, crossing the arms, pinky fingers pointed out. Good. Inhaling to lift the chest wherever you are, finding that extension. Maybe shifting weight forwards into your left foot, feeling and breathing into that right thigh, right hip. Take another breath in. Exhale out, release the bind of the arms. Frame your front foot with your hands and re-extend that back leg. So good. Step it forwards, forward folds, Uttanasana. Inhale, we'll roll it up. Once again, let the head be the last to arrive. Palms face forwards, Tadasana, reaching fingertips towards the floor. Inhale, spread the arms out and wide, reach them up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, trace the palms down the midline. We'll fold back over the legs. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, gaze forwards, lengthen the spine. Exhale, plant the hands. And maybe you step the feet back. Maybe you're ready to hop back into your plank. And we'll move through our flow, coming into Chaturanga, lowering halfway if you're ready for it. And then pressing off the tops of the feet, rising through your upward facing dog. Lovely, Austin. And coming back into downward facing from there. Nice. And this time we'll float the right leg up and back, three-legged dog. Exhale, step the foot forwards, low lunge. Looking forwards, we'll step that left foot right ahead to meet the right. Forward folds. This time, use your arms to guide you as you reach them out and up. Lift the torso, lift the chest, the gaze. Urdhva Hastasana, palms pressed together overhead. Exhale, trace down the midline. Fold back over the legs. Nice. Inhale, half lift, gaze forwards. Exhale, fold over the legs. Bend the knees, maybe hopping back into plank or stepping back, moving through your flow. So, so strong, you guys. Gorgeous. And finding your downward facing dog. We'll inhale to float left leg up and back, flexing the toes. Exhale, step it forwards, low lunge. Look out in front of you. Maybe you can create a little bit of space between the belly and the thigh, left thigh, and then step that right foot forwards, fold over the legs. Uttanasana. Inhale, arms guide as the whole body rises up, extending the arms. Press the palms together. Use your exhale to fold back over the legs. So nice. We'll inhale, find a half lift. Gazing forwards, exhale, fold back over, plant the hands, bend the knees, step or hop back, finding your plank and moving through another flow. Meeting back in our downward facing dog. We'll just take a couple of breaths here to recenter, refocus. Notice how your breath has changed. Has it deepened? Has it quickened a bit? Can you send your breath all the way down the legs into the soles of the feet? So good, you guys. Let's take another breath here, inhaling and lifting the hips high towards the ceiling. Exhaling and just settling into the shape. Now we'll inhale and you'll look towards your right hand. Without floating that right leg back, we're going to step the right foot forwards right by your right hand. Good. Now from here, start to spin that back heel down. We're going to open up the arms, the hips, finding our warrior two, Virabhadrasana 2. So as we can see on our screens, if you look at BB, front heel will bisect the back arch. See that your front knee is guiding forwards towards the big toe of that right foot. Arms are reaching out in opposite directions. Lovely. So, so good. Take a full breath in here. Exhale, can you drop your tail towards the floor? Notice if you're arching in the spine, can we neutralize that space? And another breath in. Exhaling out, start to bring your right forearm to your right thigh. Extend that left arm overhead side angle. Nice. Finding this nice long line of energy from that left heel all the way through the fingers of that left hand. Can you press out of the right forearm and grow even more space between your right shoulder and ear? So, so nice. Inhale, breathing into that left side body. Nice. And then exhale, we'll start to rise it back up. Warrior two once again. Flipping the front palm, start to take that right arm back behind you, reverse warrior, keeping a strong bend through that front knee. Nice, breathing into the right side body this time. A couple of breaths here. Keeping that back leg nice and active. So good. One more inhale. And exhale, come back into your warrior two. From here, you'll start to reach your right hand forwards towards the floor, maybe for a block, just a few inches in front of your right foot. As you float off the back leg, we're going to move into our Artachandrasana, half moon shape here. So nice. Can you flex those left toes out towards the left side of your space? Left arm maybe reaches up towards the ceiling. Maybe it supports that left hip. So, so good. Take another breath here as you kick back through that left heel. Extend forwards through the crown of the head. Notice the direction your right toes are pointed in. Are they pointing forwards? Mine always like to veer off in one direction. All right. Now from here, start to bend your left knee. Can you catch your left knee with your left hand? And we're going to start to rise it up from here, lifting the torso, lifting the arms, and then just rising up to hold your left knee as you balance on that right leg. Yes, beautiful. Love it, BB. So good. So we're standing. I know it's a little weird. We're standing and you're holding this left knee, balancing on your right foot, and you're just going to open that left thigh out to the side. And I know I have no head right now here. So good. And we're going to move into our Vrikshasana tree pose. So taking that left foot, can you hug it to the inner right thigh, maybe the calf, maybe resting the ball of the foot to the mat. So balance is funny. It's an ever changing idea, concept. Some days we have it, some days we don't. So wherever you are today, finding your stability, wherever your left foot is resting, can you actively press the foot into the floor or your right leg as you press that right leg back into the left foot? Yes. So nice, Austin. Maybe the palms come together. Maybe you grow the branches of your tree as the arms extend overhead. You can hook your thumbs together, pull them apart as you create that space between your biceps and your ears. Keep breathing. And we'll take one more breath here. Yes, Anne, that looks great. You got it. Start to bring your palms back together as you rebend your elbows, lower the hands. And you'll just draw your left thigh to parallel to the floor. We're going to float that leg back, moving into a warrior 3 variation. So option, hands can stay in front of the chest. Maybe you lower your hands to the floor or to blocks. Kick back through that left heel, extend forwards through the crown of the head. So lovely, Sophia. One more breath here. Start to soften into that standing leg. Lower your hands to the floor. Step that left foot back. Meeting in plank, right foot comes back to meet the left, hand flowing through, maybe finding your chaturanga, maybe skipping it if you want to come into tabletop or take a child's pose at any point. You're more than welcome to, again, listening within, guiding yourself through this practice. Take a nice full breath in. Let's lift the heels high, lift the hips towards the ceiling. Exhale, soften through the knees and the belly towards the thighs. Reground the heels towards the mat. And we'll look towards the left hand, again, without floating that left leg back, seeing where we want to go, and then stepping that left foot forwards by the left hand. Nice. Spin the back heel down. We're going to come right into our Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2, opening the arms, the chest, and the hips. Front heel bisects that back arch. Can you bend into the front knee? Guide that shin forwards. Nice. Looking out towards that left hand. See what's out in front of you. Inhale. Exhale, bring the left forearm to the left thigh. Extend that right arm overhead, side angle. As you guys can probably tell, it's been a while since I haven't like demoed and taught. So I'm like just doing all these weird things with my arms, halfway doing it. So growing long through this whole side body, can you root into that right heel and reach away with that right arm? Nice. Take another breath here. Pressing out of that forearm creates the space between the shoulder and the ear. Use your exhale to rise back up, finding your warrior 2. Aligning shoulders over hips. We'll flip that left palm and start to reach it back. Reverse warrior, keeping the bend in the front knee. And right hand can slide down that back leg, maybe resting at the calf or the thigh, just being careful to avoid direct pressure right outside of the knee. Maybe even you bring the hand to the hip. We'll take another breath here. Breathing in. Exhale, come back up through center. Warrior 2, reset. And now we'll take it forwards, moving into that half moon. So left hand will reach out in front of you for a block or the floor, floating the right leg off the mat. Nice. Right toes flex out to the side. Maybe that right arm is reaching up towards the ceiling. Maybe it's resting the hand at the hip. Can you open your chest, turn in the same direction that those right toes are flexed in? Notice what's going on with the left foot. Are the toes clutching the mat and gripping? Maybe they're turning in one direction. Can you parallel that foot and soften into the toe pads? Taking another breath here, nice and long through the spine, long through the back of the neck. And then just like we did on the other side, you'll start to bend into that right knee. We'll catch the knee in the right hand as you start to rise it up, rolling up. Yes, that's it, Austin. Coming to stand, open that right knee, right thigh out to the side, balancing on your left leg. Feel that strength as you draw it up from the ground. And then we'll move into our tree, Vrikshasana, planting or hooking that right foot to the inner left thigh, calf, maybe ball of the foot to the mat. Yes. And here we can practice our balance by finding a nice still focal point right out in front of you, something within eye level. And this is our drishti, our unmoving focal point that will help to ground us as maybe there's a lot of movement within you, around you, something to embrace the stillness. Nice. Maybe palms come together. Arms can start to extend up and overhead, hooking the thumbs. Maybe the opposite thumb comes in front this time, pulling the thumbs apart. Feel that tension within the arms. Keep lifting the chest, lengthening the spine. One more breath here. Exhale, start to draw the arms back down, palms pressed together. Bringing your right thigh to parallel with the floor. So the right knee is just pointed forwards. We'll start to float that leg back, coming into our warrior three. Yes, flexing the toes down towards the floor. I love that, baby. Maybe you fly your arms down by your sides. Maybe they go out in opposite directions. Maybe palms in front of the chest. Yes, so good, everybody. One more breath here. Soften into the standing leg. And then exhale, lower your hands, step that right foot back. Left foot comes back to meet it, plank. And moving through your chaturanga, lowering halfway. Nice. Pressing through upward facing, we'll meet back in downward dog. From here, let's tap the knees down for a moment. Keeping the thighs together, untuck the toes, send your hips towards your heels, and extend your arms forwards. We'll find this child's pose, letting the forehead tap towards the mat. Breathing space into the side body, the back body. Maybe rocking the forehead side to side. We'll start to shift our weight back forwards, moving back into your tabletop. And let's take a moment just to stretch the wrists out. So in your tabletop, we're going to take our hands or fingertips rather, and you'll point them out to the sides of your mat. And you might stay here for today. This might be more than enough. Maybe you want to bring your fingertips all the way to point back towards your knees, flipping the wrists 180 degrees. Wherever you are, can you press into the thumb mounds of your hands? And maybe find a little bit of a bend in the elbows. So we're not only stretching or working the wrists here, we're also working the shoulders. So broadening the collarbones. Can you send your chest forward? So gazing out in front of you. And we'll just find some circles here, like you were tracing circles underneath the palms of each hand. So not like our hip circles that are super wide and dramatic. These movements will be a little bit smaller. So I might not even notice you moving on the screen. And then reverse those directions, those circles. Beautiful. Come back through center. Now, wherever you are, either with the wrists flipped or out to the sides, you're going to tent onto your fingertips. So lifting the palms like you were cupping eggs underneath your hands, and then rotate your fingers out to the side, thumbs back. Eventually, you'll bring your hands back in that traditional position, and you'll just reflatten the palms. Now let's walk our hands forwards, retuck the toes, coming back into your downward facing dog. I like to stretch the wrists in the middle. I find that my wrists are the first thing that start to kind of feel the impact of the down dog. So maybe now you have a little bit more space there. Inhale, float your right leg up and back, three-legged dog. This time we'll open up that hip so you can rotate it out to the side, let the knee bend, let the heel flop towards your left glute. Maybe you find some hip circles, articulating the knee out to the side. Maybe you rotate the ankle. Maybe you're just hanging with that leg extended. Reverse your circles. Lifting maybe a little higher off the ball of that left foot or on the ball of that left foot. So the heel is raising, and then re-extend that right leg. Kick it back. We'll exhale and step the foot forwards. Low lunge. From here, find your high lunge. Raise the torso, let the arms frame the ears. Beautiful. And extending through that back leg, really draw the heel back in space as you send your left hip forwards. Now we'll start to hinge forwards, reaching like you were reaching out for something in front of you. Float off that back leg, moving into your warrior three. Maybe you keep the arms extended forwards. Maybe the palms come in front of the chest, or you find any other arm variation. I love it all. Yes. All right, from here, we're gonna come right into our Artachandrasana. Start to turn to the left. Float that left arm up, flex the left toes, kick that left heel back. So, so good. Maybe option to play with lifting this bottom arm. And I'm just hopping right into it. So I will be a little rusty, wobbly, but maybe this right arm starts to reach forwards as the left arm reaches forwards. I like to call this variation full moon. So, so good. Let's all rise it up from here, lifting the torso, lift that left knee up with you. And you're gonna cross the left thigh over the right. We'll bring the arms forwards, cross the right arm over the left. Garudasana, eagle wrap. Maybe sitting the hips a little deeper, a little lower, sinking weight back into that left heel. Can you lift your chest, gazing up towards the ceiling? So, so good. And we'll find a little fold here. So bringing the elbows closer towards the knees. Yeah, letting the spine round, the head can drop. Breathing into the back body space. We'll just take another breath. So good, you guys. On this next inhale, unravel the arms, unravel the legs, plant into that left foot. Let's inhale, reach both arms up, gaze up. Exhale, let your arms sweep out to the sides as you hinge forwards, fold over the legs. Uttanasana. Half lift from there. Palms to shins or fingertips to the floor, gaze forwards. Exhale, fold once again. Float or step back, finding your plank flowing from there. We'll meet back in our downward facing. Beautiful, you guys. Inhale, float the left leg up and back. Three-legged dog, start to open that hip, let the knee bend, let the heel drop towards the right side. Maybe you find some circles in that hip, circling the knee around or circling, rotating the ankle, whatever feels good for you. Good. Reverse those circles. Maybe you can start to lift a little higher off that right foot. Yeah, lifting the heel, re-extend that left leg, breathe in. Exhale, step the left foot forwards, low lunge. High lunge from here, arms sweep up alongside the ears, growing long through the spine. Nice extension through that back leg. Now start to hinge forward, starting to shift weight into that front foot and then floating that right leg off the ground. So, so nice. Any variation with the arms that you want by your sides. Maybe the hands are at the floor. I love it. So good, you guys. Give me one more breath here. Maybe bending into that right knee. And we'll start to rotate open, half moon, lowering that left hand, reach the right arm up, turn the right toes to the side. Beautiful. Maybe you want to find that full moon variation as you extend your left arm forwards. Maybe that right arm reaches out towards the front of your space as well. Yes. Bending into that left knee. Let's all start to rise it up. So good. And we'll come right into our eagle from here. Wrap that right thigh over the left. Maybe you wrap the toes around the back of the calf. We'll take the left arm over the right. So good. And if that's not working for you, you can always come back to that opposite shoulder grip. So good. Sitting deep here, sinking the hips back. Weight shifts back into the heels. Can you lift the chest as you inhale? And then as you exhale, we'll rounds here. So drawing the elbows towards the thighs, letting the forehead bow. Feeling that hugging in of the thighs. So everything is moving in towards the midline. And once you come to your next exhale, start to unravel the bind, open the arms, stamp down through that right foot, reach the arms up and overhead, gazing up. Exhale, let the arms swim out to the sides, fold over your legs, Uttanasana, drop the head. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold once again, bend into the legs, plant the hands, hop or step back. Final flow here. And we'll meet back in our downward facing dog. From here, let's inhale and shift it forwards to plank. We're going to hold this plank just for a little bit, thinking about the structure of this shape. I want you to gaze out in front of you. Can you spread the spaces between your fingers? Can you really draw your heels back like they could tap up against that wall behind you? So good. Engage your abdominals like you're preparing to be tickled. I absolutely hate being tickled, so that's the best cue for me to really fire up the side obliques, transverse abdominis, hugging that belly in and up. Can you start to bend your elbows? Draw them in towards your ribs. We're going to lower slowly, halfway. Hold it there. Yes, and so good. Hold it. Can you lower a little bit lower without quite collapsing? And then lowering all the way down. Yes, so good. You guys, bring your hands underneath your forehead, stack them one on top of the other, and let your legs splay wide for a moment. Just give your full weight into the mat. Let the front body fall forwards into the floor. Maybe you bend the knees, draw the heels towards the glutes, and find a little windshield wiper action with the legs, letting the shins kick side to side. Yeah. And then re-extending the legs nice and long. We'll slide our hands out from underneath the forehead, bring them underneath the shoulders. Good. And then press yourself back to sit on the knees. From there, we'll just shift our hips over to one side. We'll come to sit, sitting bones on the mat, extending the legs out in front of you. And we're going to take, I'll offer this variation of Paschimottanasana, one of my favorites. So if you have blocks, you can use those. If you don't have blocks, you don't need them, but you'll just find a bend in your knees. So I'll come onto my mat so you can see me a little better. With the blocks, you can, if you have them, you can bring them on the lowest height and wedge them underneath the hamstring. So like not directly underneath the knees, but kind of this like upper edge of the hamstring. And then if you don't have the blocks, you'll just bend your knees, press your heels into the mat, flexing the toes up. We'll all inhale and reach the arms up, hold on to opposite elbows. as if you could lift your torso off of your hips, off of your legs, and then you'll start to fold. And I want you to think about bringing your armpits towards your knees. So there will be a bit of a rounding in the spine. You'll let your arms fold forwards. Maybe the forearms rest on the shins. Maybe you release that grip of the arms. You don't have to keep it. I like to sometimes hold my feet, and like I was pressing my foot or both feet into a gas pedal, pressing the feet forwards into the hands and bringing your armpits a little closer towards the knees. You can let your head drop. Beautiful. This looks so good. Love it, Sophia. Yes, Anne. Let's take a couple more breaths here. And as you reach your next exhale, releasing whatever you were holding with your hands. Let them just fall towards the floor. And then you'll slowly start to roll the spine back up, coming to sit upright. Nice. And then if you had those blocks underneath the legs, you can go ahead and slide those out to the sides. We're going to come down now into our, we'll find a supine Gomukasana. So if you have your blocks, just bring them towards the middle edge of your mat so they're within reach, and we'll just recline to lower the backs down onto our mats. And you can hug your knees in towards your chest when you get there. So I really like this supine version of Gomukasana. I find it's a little bit, at least for me and my rigid hips, the supine variation allows me to kind of relax a little bit more, because when I'm upright, I feel like it's hard for me to kind of release the contraction in the muscles. So we'll see how it feels for you. You'll take your right leg and cross it over your left, like we were in our Garudasana eagle leg wrap. And then you'll lift your head just for a moment to either reach to hold opposite knees, opposite shins, or reaching underneath the soles of the feet to hold for opposite feet. And then you'll relax your head back down. So whatever you're holding, see if you can extend your feet out to opposite sides of the room. So their feet aren't close to the butt. They're moving out, left foot to the right edge, right foot to the left edge. You could give the hips a little rock here, massaging the sacral region against the mat. Maybe you rock the head a little side to side. Sending your breath into that gallbladder region that moves down the spine to the SI joint, around the outer seams of the hips, and down the lateral edge of the legs. Take another breath here. Now you're going to keep the legs crossed. Go ahead and just release your arms. Let them fall by your sides, framing the hips. Now, with this right leg crossed over the left, I want you to press your arms into the floor, lift your hips slightly, and just shift them up and over to the right. And then you'll let your knees fall to the left. Then you can open that right arm out to the side if you have the space. If not, maybe you bend the elbow in line with the shoulder, gazing out towards that right arm. And maybe you can send your breath into the back of your right shoulder blade. Allow that shoulder to get heavier with each exhale. With each inhale, filling up the right lung, the right side of the chest. Another breath in this twist. Bringing your arms back by your sides, we'll draw the knees in towards the chest, uncrossing the legs. Just giving the shins, the knees a squeeze, recentering the hips. And we'll switch sides. So crossing the left leg over the right. Thighs wrap, yes. And then lifting the head just for a moment, figuring out if, and it might look a little different from the other side. Maybe you hold opposite knees, maybe reaching for opposite shins, maybe drawing the hands underneath the soles of the feet and then holding opposite feet. We'll all relax our heads back down. And just breathing into this. It's like a hip closer and a hip opener. The hips are moving inwards, but we're breathing into that outer seam, outer hip space. Maybe you give the hips a little rock here. Really connecting the back of the skull, the back of the spine, maybe even the back of the neck against the mat. So even where there are natural spaces between your body and the floor, can you breathe connection into those spaces? Can you get even closer to your mat? And you'll keep your legs crossed like this. Release the arms, bring them down by your sides, pressing into your palms, lift the hips and just wedge them, a little over to the left as you let your knees fall to the right. Left arm will open out to the left side. Again, you can bend the elbow if you're limited for space, maybe gazing out at that arm. Inhaling as you breathe into that left pec, left lung. Exhale, let that left shoulder just fall back in space. And another breath here. Start to uncross the legs, bringing the arms back by your sides. We'll hug the knees in towards the chest, recenter the hips. Good. And then lowering the soles of the feet from here. We're going to move into some back bends and then we'll find some rest. So for this first back bend, we're going to try a bridge pose and then I'll give some options from there. So we'll all have our knees bent, a little bit of space between the feet. Walk your heels in towards your glutes and maybe you can brush your fingertips up against the backs of the heels. Good. We're going to press into the palms, ground into the feet, start to lift the hips. And then peel the spine piece by piece off of the mat. Yes, balancing up on the shoulder blades. Notice if you're squeezing your glutes, can you find a way to soften just a little bit, but maintain that height, that space that you have between your hips and the floor? Shifting weight forwards into your toe pads as if your shins could guide forwards. So good. Can you press weight back into the back of the head? Maybe draw the chin up towards the ceiling just to create a little bit of space for the front of the throat. We'll take a full breath in here. Exhale out. One more inhale, let the chest expand. Use this exhale to softly lower the spine, reconnecting each vertebrae with the mat, letting the tailbone rest down. And for this next set of our back bend, you can either find another bridge pose, our Setu Bandha. Maybe you want to find a restorative bridge. So if you have a block that's close by, you'll lift the hips and slide the block underneath the sacrum. Maybe you want to go for your wheel pose. Yes, Sophia. So bringing the hands over the shoulders, behind the shoulders, fingertips pointing back towards your feet. pressing into palms and feet, lifting the hips. So, so good. And if you're in your wheel, can you shift the weight back in space, almost as if you could bring your chest up against the wall behind you? So, so good. We'll all take 2 breaths wherever we are. So nice, you guys. One more inhale. Exhale to dismount. Settle back onto the mat. We'll hug our knees in towards the chest. So if you had that block underneath the sacrum, you can remove it. And finishing off, maybe you want to take a pose, a stretch that we didn't get to. If there's anything that you're craving here, feel free to take that now. Maybe you want to find a happy baby as you draw your legs out wide, maybe wrapping peace fingers around big toes. Similar to our Paschimottanasana variation from today, thinking of drawing the knees in towards the armpits if you're in your happy baby. Yeah, and letting the sacrum, the tailbone, heavy towards the front edge of the mat. Beautiful. Taking another moment or two in this final shape. When you're ready to releasing the grip of the legs, the feet, whatever you were holding, we'll all let our legs extend as we prepare for our final rest, our Shavasana. You can extend your legs long. If you're having any lower back pain, you can always bend your knees and find a constructive rest with the feet wide, knees knocking in towards each other. So just setting yourself up to be comfortable. Allowing the arms to relax by your sides. Staying just as you are, just beginning to extend the breath, as if you could send your inhales all the way up towards the crown of the head, and extending your exhales deep into the soles of the feet, the tips of the toes. Maybe you start to extend your arms overhead here. If you had your knees bent, you can extend the legs long. Take up space like you were just waking up in bed. Reach your arms away from your legs. And we'll draw the arms back down by our sides as you rebend the knees and plant the soles of the feet. And roll over onto one side, coming into your fetal position. Just cradling the head in your bottom arm as you breathe into the ground, as if you could receive your breath from the ground. And planting your top hand on the mat in front of your chest. Take your time. Try to allow your head to stay heavy as you press yourself up to sit. Sitting upright towards your screen. And we'll close out together how we began. Let's bring our palms together for a moment and we'll rub our hands like you were rubbing in some hand sanitizer. We're all really good at that now. Rubbing until you feel some warmth, some friction generated between the hands. And then you'll take your palms and just cup them right over the eyes, sending some of that heat, some of that warmth, that energy into your face. Maybe bringing those cupped palms over the ears. Sending that warmth into the face. And then sliding the hands down, we'll rest the palms one over the other, over the center of the chest. Feeling that internal rhythm, beating of your heart, pumping of your organs, of your blood. Let's inhale and let the chest swell up towards the hands. Hold that breath just for a moment. Open the mouth, exhale, sigh it out. And we'll take an Om together. So we'll breathe in to prepare. And drawing the palms together once again, raising your thumbs towards your third eye space. And thank you all so much for sharing your space, your Zoom screen, your energy with all of us this morning, afternoon. I bow to each and every one of you. Namaste. Thank you so, so much, Austin and Sophia. I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your day. Bibi had to hop off a little early, but she wants me to send her love, and she will be teaching tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. For those of you who are able to make it. And yeah, we're so excited to see all of you. And Sophia, I can't wait to take your class. Remind me, Sophia, when you're teaching again, if you want to share.
Sure. Yeah, and thank you so much for that class. I teach on Mondays at noon.
That's right.
Teaching Mondays at noon.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
so Sophia's Monday at noon. If you can make it, I can't wait to come. And yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Austin, so good to see you and to practice.
Yeah, thank you, Alex.
Yeah, you're so welcome.
Good to see you, Anne and Sophia.
Yes.
Thank you. Nice to see you all. Take care.
All right, thanks a lot. Have a good rest of your day.
Of course, have a good one. Thanks,
Thank
Anne. Bye.